times. Queer times. Queer times.
Kristen.
Hi, Harrison.
Hi, Kristen. How's it going?
That's good. Welcome to Queer Times.
Good.
I am Kristen Becker.
And I'm Harrison Fish.
And it is Wednesday, February 4th.
You're still stuck in the snow? Is it still snowy up there?
The snow has fallen.
Mhm.
It is a balmy 30-ish, 5-ish today, so things are melting.
Ooh.
The roof at the Sass house is leaking.
But of course.
But of course, which is why I'm here. I actually have been living here for 2 weeks. A lot of people don't know that I don't live here. I have a different place. I don't live here. But when a storm comes through, I tend to move in because of all the things that could go wrong in a house from 1880. And they did.
Exactly.
They all did. They all did. But it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's getting less snowy, but still cold.
I loved watching all the videos because a lot of this ice and winter weather hit places that don't normally hit winter.
Yes.
Like Florida with the iguanas, Texas. And I love seeing everyone. I guess I took for granted how much I understand how it works, how snow works.
Because no, 100%. No, that's very real. And I, again, feel like one of my biggest strengths is the Buffalo to Louisiana part.
You got it both.
I do know how it works. And I also know how much they don't know how it works. And I've also had to relearn making sure that I wear a jacket. Because,
totally.
For years I didn't. But yeah, no, it's definitely, I actually, last week I was like, storm. I'm so excited there's a storm because I do know what to do. And in a similar way where if it was a hurricane, I'd be like, storm, that's how Southerners get behind it. But then I found out that a lot of people died because they don't know how to winter storm or their literal entire environment isn't built around being able to winter storm, But you were here you liked that part?
Well, not that part, but I saw so many videos of people like, oh my God, a huge snowbank. I'm going to jump into it. It's like after it's done snowing, assume that all the snow is rock hard because that's how it works.
Yeah,
it
definitely
falls light and fluffy and then turns to ice.
Well, particularly if it warms up at all. And then you've got that melting and then the refreeze and then ice for sure. The only kind of ice we'll tolerate.
Exactly. Did you participate in the general strike this past Friday?
I did.
Me as well, in the most minimal way that I could, because I don't have a job right now, so I couldn't strike from anything.
I was mindful about making, I got gas the day before. I feel like, again, this is winter in Provincetown, so it's not like we had to shut down. I didn't do any work as much as I possibly could at SAS. I definitely didn't spend any. I spent $3 in cash next door at East End Market because they were open. And I had a meeting with a woman about some activism stuff. And so I wanted to do that. And I spent $3 cash. I
also think if you're on a first name basis with the owner of a business who is there working, I feel like that kind of supersedes,
I disagree.
Do you?
I'm genuinely disappointed at the amount of people who did not participate, who I feel like could have and should have. And that's not specific to Provincetown. Listen, my internet is people in Buffalo, people in Louisiana, and there were some small businesses, Fringe Records in New York and the Intersection Cafe in Buffalo, which are very small, a tiny coffee shop, which definitely needs every iota of revenue. The profit margin on coffee is not high, and they chose to strike. And I was kind of disheartened. And listen, everybody's got to run their own business their own way.
Mm-hmm.
But to exist in Provincetown and to hear people talk about how it's fascism and how boo capitalism, and then to see over and over and over again how many small businesses after careful thought, after careful discussion and reflection, we've decided to go ahead and open today. And I just really fucking can't. I really don't. I don't understand that mentality at this point. Number one, it's not August. You know what I mean? Asking a Provincetown business to give up revenue on a Friday in August is very different than asking them to give up revenue on a Friday in January.
Totally.
Number two, unfortunately, the places that were open are very popular places. And I feel like there was a real missed opportunity for some of the people who maybe don't think that there's a problem right now to be left thinking about why this business was closed. And I feel like that was
Yeah.
a real lost opportunity of
Mm.
someone being like, oh, I can't go to that place tonight. Why? Wait, oh, they think this is bad? Weird. Like, and I also understand that, people have employees and maybe the employees needed to work. And I get that part too. But then there's also like leadership. I don't know. I just really felt like there could have been more actual support of people have been saying they support Minnesota, and the people in Minnesota were like, hey, could y'all do this one thing? And everybody was like, I mean, we would love to, but
That's slightly
capitalism.
inconvenient. I don't know.
That is slightly inconvenient, and I'm going to miss a few $1,000s. And that to me is max capitalism. And
Mhm.
that means that you would rather make the money, period. And that is a problem for me. I'm
Yeah.
genuinely like just disappointed. Like, I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life, but I am genuinely disappointed to see places that I know are okay, Like, we're not talking
Yeah.
about someone's hot dog cart that if they don't go out that day, their kid doesn't eat food. We're not talking about that,
Mm.
actually. We're talking about more money, just making more money.
Yeah.
And so I did participate, and I expected more participation, and I was kind of bummed out because it feels like Provincetown is a place of great influence.
Mhm.
And we learned that a couple years ago when there was a lot of talk about maybe visas going away and like what was going to happen with the workforce. And somehow within a few days, all those J1 visas were approved. And that's because very powerful people spend time here, and people with a lot of money spend time here. And our main ability to affect those people is in something like this, and making them cook their own meal on a Friday night, or making them at least have to think about why a place isn't open. I think we had a really good opportunity to affect some conversation, and we didn't. And also, I'm just going to say this, if there is a general strike happening and you feel like you need to open, what you're saying is you don't think people are going to take that general strike seriously. Because if you open and you only get like, people are like, oh, we have to open because of the finances of it all. But if your community is striking, no one's coming to your business.
Right.
So you're not actually probably going to break even at best, or you're saying no one in my community believes this, and I might as well just placate to those people instead of standing up for what I believe in. And so I was just kind of like,
I get that. And I think a lot of people say, we've heard over the past couple months, that like, and I kind of agree with this sentiment, that like a general strike and hurting the economy in the way that we can is one of the only ways to wake these people up to making a change. And I need people to like sit with themselves right now, and like before there is another opportunity to make these decisions of whether my business should stay open or whether I'm going to go have lunch or do it. Like, I need y'all to understand that a strike always has an element of inconvenience to the people striking. Like,
no,
that's how it works.
that's
Like,
exactly,
you
that's the
think,
point.
yeah, when like railroad workers striked for like better working conditions, they were going without their income. Like, that's how it works. You have, like, it's giving something up and inconveniencing yourself, knowing that it's bringing the system to a halt, which stops both sides. You making money,
Exactly.
and also, and I think I know we said a little bit about this last week. What those striking communities did, when you look back at like coal workers, railroad workers, it's like they came together as a community. And although they weren't making their wages, they pulled their resources together so that they didn't go hungry. So that they're, you know what I mean? You have to. It's coming together as a community to support your community while hurting the powers that be that can make changes for the positive.
Yeah, I had kind of moved past it, but now talking about it again, like I was genuinely bummed about it. I was
I hear ya.
genuinely like, just like, oh, I thought that
People
February.
cared.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that February was the moment where we had that opportunity, because I wouldn't expect it to be something that someone tried to pull off in July, even though I think that KT and I probably would, not run a topless tours on that day. I think we would probably agree that that is what needs to happen, because it feels dire. Maybe it doesn't feel dire enough to people yet. Like, I thought that they shot a straight white guy. Like, surely
Yeah.
that's enough.
They're shooting people in the street with no repercussion. Like, it can't get worse than that.
Right.
I mean,
So
it can, but I mean, if you're gonna let it get worse than that, then like you're the part of the problem.
It would be nice to intervene right now
Yeah.
before there's more of that, But anyway, so
Mhm.
I ended up, working on there is a movement in Provincetown, speaking of just like the general ice of it all, of local people getting organized, which I really appreciate. And I've been working on that with people. And so that's rejuvenating
Mhm.
my belief in the general community and the mutual aid of it all, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, on Friday, I went for a hike, and as I was driving there, I passed an elementary school where all the kids were out on the street with signs chanting against ICE in support of the general strike, and it hit me in the feels a little.
Mm-hmm.
It was really sweet.
Teach your children well,
Did you
you
watch the
know?
Grammys?
Girl, I did watch the Grammys.
Yeah, I watch the Grammys in the way I watch award shows, like I told y'all last time. I saw the
Wait,
outfits, I saw the performances, and I saw any of the clips that made it my way on social media.
but you don't just like sit and watch the thing?
Never.
Those I feel like those are like the best things to have on. What Katie and I did award show and crafts and or hobbies. So I was like listing sports cards on eBay and she was like she's been making Beanie Baby keychain charms.
But of
She's been
course,
like getting old Beanie Babies and sewing keychains onto them.
work.
And I don't know, it just those kind of things I love to multitask with, to just put it on, the
Yeah,
network.
I would watch if I had like a group to watch it with. I feel that way about like most television. I always find it more entertaining the conversation around it rather than actually watching this like I don't need to watch Will Smith do a 15-minute like what is it, honorary performance for some person. You know what I mean? That's the last
Right.
time I watched a award show and I was like, I'm done.
Do you watch the red carpets?
Not watch the red carpets, but I make sure I like Google all the looks because I want to know who looked the best.
There was this really interesting moment with Kelly Osbourne. Did you happen to catch the Kelly Osbourne interview?
I did. Someone asked her how she was doing and she was like, not good, right?
Yeah, and I think that was really refreshing because a lot of people are coming for Kelly because obviously she's very skinny right now, right? Like people are talking about, as they love to talk about, women's bodies and like, is she healthy? Is she unhealthy? And I thought what a great opportunity to really humanize the fact that this is somebody who's processing the loss of their father, even though um to us it's like this rock metal dude. It's I thought it was great to
Mm,
just be very honest about it. Like, no, actually I'm not doing good. you
right.
know?
Yeah.
I think that's important for that sort of visibility with mental health and just being open and honest about
So
it.
often you see women like Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, and Kelly Osbourne, and the conversation is always first and foremost how this affects everyone else and not
Mhm.
how, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
as much as there's like, oh, do they have a problem? Do they like you're not asking if they have a problem because you're worried about them. You're asking if they have a problem because you're like, how is this gonna affect 15-year-old girls and how is this gonna affect people's body image? But it's like that's a real person going through something. And as much as you can have concern for them, I don't believe that you're actually concerned for them.
Right. Yeah. Somebody brought up I had forgotten about the tragedy at the Ariana Grande concert years ago, right? Like
Yeah.
that would fuck
You
somebody up. I literally forgot all about it. I'm like, wow,
yeah. A
people
literal
have
terrorist attack at an Ariana Grande concert where upwards of 20 people were killed. Her fans
yeah.
that paid to see her. And like that also she also was a Nickelodeon kid.
Mhm.
She also had one of her partners that she loved dearly pass away.
Yeah. Yeah. Bitch has been through some shit.
But so many people are like, no, she exists for us.
Right. Yeah. So I did enjoy the Grammys. I watched the Grammys. Everyone's losing their mind about Bad Bunny. We love to see it. Trevor Noah coming for Nicki Minaj. Love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see Jelly Roll's acceptance speech?
I mean, I was blinded by those veneers, but yeah. Those are the worst veneers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. But he also like, I don't know. I feel like this like religion will save us all in this moment where we are all so many of us are being victimized by religion, not by religion, but victimized by awful people in the name of religion.
Yes. I do feel like Number one, that sounds a lot like somebody in recovery, right? Like there are
Mm.
people who in recovery have no choice but to relinquish all control to a higher power, and that higher power is then given all the glory, et cetera, et cetera.
But, like, not
I
to be judgmental or anything, but did that seem like a sober person to you as he was giving his speech?
Yeah.
He the things he were saying were seemed like a sober person, I hear that, but I don't think he was behaving in a way that was I would go, "That guy's sober." And I don't mean sober in the, like, "I don't drink anymore." I mean, he appeared to be under the influence in that moment.
I didn't think so. I thought it was high energy. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, he just seemed
I don't know.
like someone who is
As
not
somebody who
sober.
gets very amped up and everyone assumed I did cocaine and I've never once in my life ever even tried cocaine. For me personally, I'm like, that's just a big guy with a lot of energy who's jazzed up because he used to be a fat homeless person. And now he's, and now he's rich and not homeless and bangs a wife. You know what I mean? I don't know. I definitely
Okay.
felt like there was a little bit like in a way I was like everybody's like, "Oh, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus," but in a way I was also like, you know how I feel about I don't think that only straight conservatives should be able to have some sort of religious relation or some sort of spiritual relationship within a religion, and I feel like in some ways what he was saying was like, "Hey, um this isn't owned by one type of person, right? This belief in this power that changed my life isn't owned by one type of person. Do I also agree that the church does a lot of harm to a lot of people? Absolutely. I wasn't particularly offended by it. I was just a little bit like, wow, that kid drank the Kool-Aid, right? Like I was
Mm.
just like, wow, this kid is really in it.
I guess it's like when there's this constant idea if a gay person is simply visible, there is a huge amount of people who view that as shoving it down their throat.
Yes.
Like, and I'm gonna say, like, he says Jesus for is for everyone. Jesus is not for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is not for me. I am not that. Like, I don't appreciate you saying that.
You know
No.
what's funny is I was thinking about this right before we started recording because I was thinking about exactly what you just said that like, but Jesus isn't for everybody. And then I was like, could you imagine if uh somebody got up there and was like, just so you know, second dick is for everybody, like would that? And then I was like, oh, are you now comparing your
Sexuality to religion.
sexuality to religion, and then it's a choice, and then I'm down a rabbit
Sucking
hole,
dick is my religion,
and then
Kristen.
I'm canceled. You know what? Have you tried getting a 501c3 status for that? I think you could.
Hell yeah.
Just like the Satanic Temple or the Church of
Mhm.
the Spaghetti Monster or whatever. I mean,
But in regards to the Grammys, I was happy that Lady Gaga won. I was happy that Bad Bunny won. I was perplexed. Not that it's a bad song, but I was perplexed that Billie Eilish
so
won
was
song.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, that
Everybody
song.
was. Everybody was like,
It just like that song came out in 2024, and then won the 2026 Song of the Year. And also, it's like usually song of the year is a song that you can't escape. You know what I mean? Like you're at the store, you hear it. It's on commercials, it's in social media, people are posting about it. There's memes about it. And I know that song cuz I listened to the album when it came out, but I did it have a moment in 2025?
not that I know of. I was shocked. It looked like she was shocked. It seems like the audience was shocked. And also, but she did use her moment to say something that mattered. And I almost thought she was going to use this moment to be like, wow, this is some white people shit y'all just did. Like, honestly, I was like,
Literally.
because it definitely when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is that thing where they talk about how limited the people who make these decisions are and how they identify." Even though I know there's been a concerted effort with the Recording Academy to diversify the judging and whatever, it did definitely feel a little bit like somebody only knows Billie Eilish's name out of all of these, right? And so they picked that one.
Definitely. I feel like I don't know exactly who the Grammy votership is specifically, but it feels like people who are disconnected to the actual music making, how it affects pop culture. Like it does feel like, oh, I know Billie Eilish. Let's check that box. When like a song like Golden, like that was the song of the year, you
Mm-hmm.
know? That was the
Yeah.
song of the year. So it's confusing, but
Shout out to the quality of stage production and performances. Sabrina
mm,
Carpenter, right?
yeah. Lady Gaga.
Pharrell. Yeah. No, it was really I was like, "Wow, I'm really here for music videos now just being stage productions."
Hell yeah.
It was like, "Wow, these are incredible." I would have obviously loved to see Sabrina Carpenter win something, but apparently
Mm.
I think Sabrina Carpenter is on the new Muppet Show that's debuting
Oh, no way.
tomorrow, the day this airs. Yeah, I think she's
Wow,
one of the first guests.
I didn't know there was a new Muppet Show.
The Muppet Show is coming back, and I am stoked.
No, that's
And I
awesome.
think it debuts tomorrow at 7 or yeah.
Did you hear there's a Miss Piggy movie in production?
I think, yeah, was that Aubrey Plaza? No, that was Jennifer Lawrence. Was that who was it? It was
Jenna
on Good.
J Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone are producing it together,
Okay,
which,
okay.
wow, I'm
Yeah.
excited for that.
No, it's gonna be fantastic. So yeah, so good on the Grammys, I guess. Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah. I don't know,
Bad
this
Bunny.
Grammys just felt like there was, like, y so many times you go into the Grammys and it's all about this or it's all about that, like Lemonade or Billie Eilish or you know what I mean? It just felt like there was no huge pop culture thing in music this year.
I think there is a general tension.
We didn't even have a song of the summer.
Wait, when did oh yeah, Abracadabra was last how was Abracadabra? Wasn't that last year too?
I don't know. No. No.
That was this year?
Yeah.
Was that the song of the summer?
Maybe?
I say was that the song of the summer because the gays get to determine that, and that was the one that
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It really should have been Midnight Sun, but that came out picked up traction too late.
Got it. Alright. I just
Yeah.
feel like, there's a lot of you'll see the memes that are all like, what it feels like trying to promote my show while this is going on, and I think that was the general
Mhm.
thing I felt, was that the band's still playing as the ship is sinking, right? Like, the general tension about the collapse of a society before our very eyes as masked men are roaming the streets abducting people.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think the award show should feel a little weird.
totally.
Like I just feel like
Yeah.
maybe
It's
it's okay.
it's so funny because, like, for the past few months, there's been this constant conversation of things that happen within politics and things that happen within government, specifically the actions of Donald Trump and his administration. It's always like, guys, he's trying to distract from this is all a distraction from the Epstein files, right? And I feel like this past Friday, we got like they're now using the Epstein files to distract from other things. Like they did a big drop of the Epstein files this past week, and I was like, oh, they're trying to distract from the fact of what's going on in Minnesota, the fact that ICE is murdering people in the streets, tear gassing elementary schools, shit like that. And I'm like, oh, we've gone so far around that we're now releasing Epstein files to distract from other things.
I did not dig into these files at all. I will say something I did a little bit of recon on, and by recon I mean reading articles regarding ICE specifically. Did you know how much cooperation there was between ICE and jails in previous administrations?
No.
So it turns out part of what Holman is saying, because Holman, remember, was in charge of immigration during the Obama administration, right? So this is
Mhm.
a layover. And there used to be a gentle person's agreement between people who ran prisons and ICE that they would basically detain someone for 48 hours if they were an illegal alien, quote unquote, and then ICE would come pick them up from the jails. Now, that's part of I think that understanding the history of the relationships between local law enforcement and the federal government and immigration is really important because people are all like they're just like they're going into jails and I'm like no, they've always been doing that.
Right.
And actually, it was safer for everybody when they were, because number one, they were getting people that committed a crime, and number two, they weren't entering a house full of children and to detain somebody. Am I saying this
Mhm.
is correct? I'm not. I'm just saying that I think it's important that we remember how we got here and how we got here. This guy was appointed during Obama. So let's just
Right.
when more deportations happen than any other time.
Yeah. I will say it's I know people get really frustrated when people say that both that the right and the left, the Democrats and Republicans are the same. It's like they're not the same, but they're way more similar than you would think. And this is a perfect example. It's like I oftentimes we hear a lot more about the Republicans and Trump's administration doing absolutely awful things because it is sensationalized, because people will click on it on CNN, because people will read those articles. And it almost feels like, yes, he's doing something that is worse, but I wish we knew and were aware of the absolutely awful things that Democratic administrations do as well in this regard.
It's that meme of like capitalism, like Republicans say something and then Democrats say it, and it's just like he, him, BLM. Like
Oh, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
just all the same.
totally. But the Epstein files, there was a gigantic release of the Epstein files this past week on the 30th of January. They released over 3 million pages of documents that were published by the U.S. Justice Department. This release includes 2,000 videos and 180,000 images.
That's a lot of pictures of pedophiles.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of emails, court records, and communications, a lot of emails between Epstein and other powerful figures around the world. It seems like there was an email chain of Elon Musk, like, begging to go to his parties on his island and him not being cool enough.
Wow.
Yeah. Pictures of former Prince Andrew on the floor with young women who appear to be tied up and I mean
Tied up?
children. Yes.
Oh my God. I did not see any of those.
There's also this idea that basically 4chan and all of the conspiracy theories on 4chan that kind of propped up the Republican Party in 2016 were all created, like it was created by this conglomerate that is being investigated in the Epstein files.
The pizza part, right?
The pizza part, slash
Did you read
poll.
all the pizza emails?
No, I didn't
I
read
did.
them all, but I did see that there is like the word pizza is mentioned like thousands of time in emails, and you can tell in the emails that it is a code word for something else.
Yeah, no, it's funny because they talk about pizza. Everybody knows I used to distribute cannabis and everybody would get a slice, right? The slice was an eighth, a whole pizza was an ounce, right? That was pretty standard, and I don't think that's what they're talking about though.
No,
It
I
doesn't
don't
sound like
either.
that at all. And then when you go back to like Pizzagate and they're like, oh, you're ordering these pizzas with certain things if you want a boy or a girl child or whatever. And we are like, wow, those people are crazy. And turns out those people weren't crazy. And I think we need to say that. I think that we can go on and on about how crazy QAnon was, et cetera, and that some of that stuff is still fucking insane. But also some of it wasn't insane, except the call was coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
It was not Hillary Clinton, I don't think, but
Yeah,
maybe.
it is crazy that it is seeming that this entire change of the Republican Party and what politics has become since 2016 was all a planned and concerted effort to cover up not only pedophilia but all of the other things going on in this Epstein ring. And it is just crazy that, and I know you don't like it when I do this, but like they use these absolute stupid Republicans to cover up one of it's probably the worst thing to happen, like the worst, most corrupt thing to happen in like modern history.
Wait, say more, say more. Like they use these stupid people. Say more about that.
I mean, they felt like the Epstein, like all of these Epstein files and all of the goings ons in regard to Epstein, Israel, Donald Trump was going to come out. So they used Donald Trump to take over power and create all of this craziness to distract from it all. And they assumed that because he was in power, none of it would come out. And it seems like the entire creation of QAnon, all of these conspiracies, all of this that created this crazy right-wing Trump MAGA movement was all put in place by the people in this crazy corrupt ring of pedophilia, cannibalism, sex trafficking, human trafficking. That is all a part of our major governments around the world.
So you think this is global?
I mean, yeah, it definitely has a lot to do with Israel and the United States. And I feel like when the United States is at the top of it all, it's global, period. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's emails in these files about what they called calendar girls parties. And one of them is the only two men that were there were Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And what would happen is Donald Trump would digitally penetrate young girls, describe their tightness to this crowd that could then bid on these children.
That's insane.
Insane.
And these have all been verified.
I mean, as part of the Epstein files, you know?
And Ghislaine Maxwell's still in prison.
Yeah. And it is kind of crazy that, like, this is what is crazy. So crazy to me is that, like, the government has had this information, the Department of Justice has had this information about all of these crazy high ranking men and women around the world, predominantly men, and the only person in prison is a woman, you know?
And Diddy.
Yeah. And she should
And
be
a
in
black
prison.
man.
But Donald Trump should be in prison. Prince Andrew should be in prison. Like, all of these people should be in prison. Elon Musk, all of these people involved.
So
George
here's
Soros, Bill Gates,
here's the
NFL
question.
figures. Yep.
Yeah, did you read that Melinda Gates left Bill because he wouldn't stay off the fucking island?
And that there's this idea that the final straw was that he gave her an STI.
I didn't know that part.
And that he was trying to dose her with antibiotics so he didn't have to tell her. And she found out.
Too much money is not good for anybody, man. Too much money is not good for anybody. Melinda Gates did, on a side note, we didn't cover this, but gave the Trevor Project $45 million. Did you see that?
We love that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I hope it allows it. Go ahead.
It's just crazy to me that, like, if I was dosing someone without their knowledge on prescription medications, I would go to jail.
Have you tried being a billionaire?
And because it's a billionaire, it's just like,
they can't possibly put all these billionaires in jail right now, because then who would create all the jobs? Did you ever think about that, Harrison?
I don't think they should go in jail. I think we should dig a big hole, lead them all into it, and then fill said hole in.
I think that we're beginning to understand why they couldn't release these files, because it does go so very far and
Yeah,
so
it's
very deep.
Like, when the mechanisms to prevent this and the mechanisms to provide justice for the victims is so involved in it, that how do you do that?
I don't think you can, truthfully. The best thing you can do is what Melinda's doing, and that's take half their money and give it away to everybody. I do want to talk about the Trevor Project a little bit, because when I saw that, I was excited, but I was also really hoping that this donation to the Trevor Project results in more actual services. You know, I am not one of those. I am someone who believes that we need to fortify young queer people.
Mm-hmm.
And that while crisis services are very, very important, I also wish that there was more actual services provided by the Trevor Project. I've reached out to them, been like, hey, what if I have a couple young queer people who need mental health resources? Do you have anything? And it's very limited. And so I'm hoping that this allows them to expand their services for more intervention pre-crisis versus, do you want to kill yourself? Do you want to kill yourself? You want to kill yourself? You can call us. Are you ready to kill yourself yet? Call us back when you're ready to kill yourself. And that's literally what it is. And I just think that I hope that when you get that much money, you should be able to develop a robust set of services that help people before they are at their worst. And I hope that that is how some of this gets used. And also, Melinda, if you're listening, if you wanted to give me half that much, I would buy multiple properties in Provincetown and make this everything we've always wanted it to be. And that's true for anybody. If you have a couple extra million and you want to give it to me, I know how to piss off people with it and keep and help young queers do good things. Speaking of, this weekend is the Super Bowl. And it's time for the big sassy Super Bowl party. This year at the Gifford House. So we're going to have multiple screens. $40 gets you all the food you can eat. Mackenzie's hosting. The Patriots are in the Super Bowl, much to my chagrin. I cannot believe that I have to throw a Super Bowl party for the New England Patriots as a Buffalo Bills fan.
Again.
What do you mean?
They're just, I think of the last 10 years, it's been two teams winning the AFC.
Yeah, so it has, but it hasn't been, since I've moved here, there hasn't been a Patriots Super Bowl that I've had to actually throw a party for. It's been Chiefs, Eagles sort of a situation, Chiefs, somebody else sort of a situation, so Rams. So this year I have to, as a lifelong Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints fan, I have been traumatized by the New England Patriots in so many different ways, in so many different levels, in so many games. But I will suck it up and throw a party. And if you want to be a Pats fan in my face, you can. That alone is worth the $40 cover charge, in my opinion. But we're gonna have all the finger foods and a halftime buffet, and you can come to the Gifford House.
Entertainment, hanging
Mackenzie's
out,
gonna do some numbers. We're gonna have a football bingo,
community.
community, hang out with people. And again, in the way of reclaiming spaces that for a lot of us growing up felt homophobic. Football parties often felt homophobic because of the testosterone of it all. We're gonna have the same level of testosterone, just less homophobic.
And just coming from our F to M friends, mostly.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Correct. This weekend to the Big Sassy Soup House.
Hell yeah.
Big screens, Bad Bunny for Bad Bunny. That alone is worth it.
Hell yeah. We have a QT of the week, correct?
QT of the week. We do have a QT of the week coming to us out of. Oh, wait, before we do that,
Okay.
have you heard this Savannah Guthrie thing?
No, who's that?
Savannah Guthrie is a journalist she's on the Today Show. She's a
Yes.
co-host of the Today Show. Okay.
I did hear this.
Her mother, they believe, has been abducted from her home. And her mother is 84 years old and she lives in Tucson and she didn't show up at church. And because she has limited mobility, they're fairly certain she was taken against her will.
Right. Like if she's not being taken somewhere, she's not moving.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And so what a crazy story. They said that they took her home from dinner on Saturday night, didn't notice any red flags about her behavior, etc. And she wasn't at church the next day, which was unusual. And they don't know where she is, which is crazy.
Yeah, they're investigating it as a crime. Like they assume a crime has been committed.
Yeah, exactly. They assume a crime has been committed.
Do they think that this is some sort of retaliation for her work on the Today Show?
What has been released publicly is that her security team is in touch with the sheriff's department and they're not going to dismiss any angles, but immediately they don't know of anything like that. Like there wasn't any threats of we're coming, just for general from her security team. So I don't know, but is just a little terrifying, right? And I just thought it was a really crazy story in the vein of, when we talk about things like Pizzagate and like how words interpreted and ingested crazy Trump talk, how that shows up in the real world and can be really fucking dangerous. I thought that was really a developing story that we will learn more about, but just a really weird story, like, is it random and that's the other part is like, is it a random thing that just happens to be?
Who randomly abducts an 84-year-old woman, though?
That's true. That's true. All right. So sorry, not to bring it down, but it was just a crazy story that I was like, did you hear about this?
No,
and you know what's crazy?
That.
You know what's
crazy.
crazier? KT told me, and when she said it, I didn't hear Savannah Guthrie. I heard like Susanna Giuffre, which like of the Epstein files. I was like, oh wait, wow, now they killed her mother too, right? Like,
right, crazy.
I meant to ask you this. So, do you think that he committed suicide, or do you think they killed him now?
I think he's still alive.
You think he's still alive? You think Epstein is still alive on an island?
Maybe not on an island, but I think he might still be alive. I mean,
wow.
and when you look at this most recent release of the Epstein files and how corrupt and manipulative and how much effort they went in to save their own asses, like, yeah, I think he might still be alive.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. Harrison believes that Epstein's alive somewhere. And
I'm a conspiracy theorist now.
Okay, so let's wrap it up with the QT of the week.
Yeah, this one's exciting.
And it's going to be Christian Menefee, who won the special election for a vacant House seat in Texas.
Yeah, which is incredible. I do think it is insane that like Trump won this district in 2024 by 17 points, I think. So the fact that this special election was won by kind of a landslide by a Democrat is pretty insane. And I hope that it is a sign of things to come.
I'm excited. This is an area around Dallas-Fort Worth area, generally very conservative. And I'm excited to see that people are, I don't want to say coming to their senses, are indicating that they've had enough of this bullshit, quite frankly. And I'm excited because this is also, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a huge Barbara Jordan fan. Do you know who Barbara Jordan is?
No.
In 1973, Barbara Jordan was the first Southern Black woman elected to the House of Representatives. I will send you a Barbara Jordan speech that I listen to sometimes from the Democratic National Convention in the 70s, because Barbara Jordan was a fucking badass. And I'm excited that this is that same seat. And it feels like there is, in the cycle of history, we're reaching this point again of really badass activists coming back into power after a bit of a drought, if you ask me personally. All right, we did it. That was our QT.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to try to get better about being like, hey, are y'all liking? Are you subscribing? Are you listening? We might even, maybe we should record like an auto thing. We got some feedback from a listener who said that the commercial breaks have been really abrupt, and that maybe we could have like a little, because we'll be in the middle of a conversation and then they'll just kind of pop up, and that maybe we could have just a little like intro outro music, so I think we should do that, and I want our listeners to know that I heard the note and we're working on it.
Work.
Sweet. All right, well, love you. Wait, come back next week. We'll be back. Love you, queerly.
Bye.
Bye. Queer is in.